until right now. Okay, cool. All right, so Evelina, if you want to share your screen, we can get started with some trip planning.
Okay.
And feel free to let us know what places you have in mind. I know you had one in mind, and we can try to find the trail map and everything.
Yeah, so I was gonna do the Sam Houston National Forest. I was shopping for something at REI, and this like sales associate was like, "You should go to Sam Houston National Forest." I was like, "Okay, I guess."
Nice.
So I thought this would be like a good opportunity to do that. But like you said, you had trouble kind of like finding the trail map for it, so we can definitely try something else as well.
Yeah, let's go ahead and like do a Google search for Sam Houston National Forest, and let's find their homepage to take a look at that. Perfect.
Okay, so I think Shannon has to take off. Thanks for attending, Shannon, but check out the recording.
And we can go click website and okay, perfect. Okay, so I did click on, we can check out the forest map link that they have there right under the image. I don't know if you see, yeah, right there. So I was taking a look at this one. This is like not a very good trail map, in my opinion. So let's see. Okay, let's go back to the homepage. Troy, do you know where we could find like a trail map for a national forest? Because I want to take a look at like campsites, and I'm not seeing anything here. Or we can try to do like a. Oh, I think you're on mute. Oh, you're on mute.
That's the thing about national forests is sometimes it's not designated campsites. It's just kind of zone camping. You just go in and you camp.
Gotcha.
So on something like this, you might just want to determine what kind of distances you want to do, and then you plot it out.
Okay. Sweet. Yeah, I did see campsite details on there. Okay, well, let's go into all trails and let's search the forest up in all trails, and we could take a look at some of the trails that are in the forest. Perfect.
I've never used All Trails before. I just got my user account.
Okay.
So I have no idea what I'm doing.
That's awesome.
Let me see. Let me pull up my notes here. Okay. So let's take a look at some of the trails. So if you scroll down a little bit, we can see some of the top trails in the area. So let's see, we have the Lone Star hiking trail. We have a lot here for that. So let's go ahead and click into one of these. Let's see, there's one that's 92 miles. Oh yeah, the Lone Star hiking trail, 92. Does any one of them catch your eye? We can like maybe click on the first one.
Maybe this first one.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so in here we can see all like a few of the reviews that people have left on the trail, the length, the elevation gain, and the route type, which is a loop. And then we have a description of what is on the trail. And then if we scroll down a little bit, let's see, we can see reviews from people and all that good stuff to read more about their experiences. So let's go up a little bit and all the way to the top, and we can take a look at the map. So right there it says view full map, and we can take a look at that. All righty, let's see what we have here. Okay, so one of the campsites that I did find in the area, it's called Kegel, and that one you can reserve. So we can try to find that one on this map to see if we're able to pinpoint it. So if you head over to the other link with the park map. Oh, I think we can stay there. And I think you have it open in another tab. I think it's the untitled one.
Oh, is it this one?
Yeah. Okay. So we see Kegel there. It's like near Lake Conroe. If you zoom in a little bit, it's to the right of Lake Conroe in that green section. So if we look there, we see the Kegel campsite up right
Oh,
there.
it's this one here.
Yeah. So let's see if we can try to find that or like compare that against what we have in All Trails there. Okay. So
How can you see that this is Kegel?
So we have FM 149. So I'm gonna try to like look on my computer here to find where that's at on our map here. Okay.
I'm gonna send you guys a resource. This is another website called Campendium, and it looks like it has some listing of campsites at Sam Houston.
Okay, perfect. Let's click that link. Let's see.
Yeah, because this is the 149 is like here.
Okay, so I think the trail runs a little too far left there. Okay, let's see. So
It's this Kegel recreation area.
yeah, we can look at that one. Let's click into there. $20.
Were you looking for like a staging campsite, like one when you first enter, or were you just looking for campsites in general?
I wasn't. It was just like this, like I had no idea what I'm doing.
Okay.
Like just anything.
Let's
I guess
see.
like anything where I can like drive up and start
Okay.
hiking, and then maybe do like, I don't know, let's say maybe if it's like a weekend trip, maybe
Yeah.
hike like 4 miles or so and then come back, whether like in a little loop or whether going back and forth kind of a thing.
Okay. Okay. I understand.
Something
All right.
like super simple.
Yeah. So I would go back to All Trails, and I wouldn't worry too much about having a campsite, like an established campsite. What you basically want to do is find the trailhead that you want to go to, and then find the trail route. Okay. And so here you already have it, right? You already have it all mapped out. So this is a situation where you could just follow this route. It's about 13.8 miles. And, I don't know if that's too long of a distance for you, if you were looking just for something shorter, like 5 or 6 miles, but you
Yeah, I
could
would
do,
probably just do like this loop.
yeah.
Like right here.
Okay.
So
All
it'd be
right.
like half, because this would be like a second half. So
Okay.
I would just do like this, let's say.
All right. So, Victoria, can you take her from that point where that trailhead is, and then show her how to create that map?
Yeah. Okay. So let's open up another tab. So we'll keep this one open. So let's open up another All Trails tab. And then perfect. All right. So we're going to go up. So to create a custom route, you're going to go up to saved. There's a drop down there. And then click create app. Awesome. So this is how you're going to create your own route. And then, okay, so what we can do in order to get to the national forest. So click on draw on map. And then in that little search bar, go ahead and type in Sam Houston National Forest. And let's see, let's zoom out a little bit. Zoom out, and then, oh, okay, let's see. Okay, now let's find that trail. So if we go back to the other tab really quickly. All right, so zoom out, Little Lake Creek Wilderness. Okay, let's see. Let's type in Little Lake Wilderness. See if we can find that one. That's like the tricky part with All Trails is trying to find that exact location. That's like the only tricky part. And,
Oh, it's right here. It's really far.
oh, perfect. Okay, so let's zoom into the area. Okay, there we go. Now we're able to see the trails. Okay,
I think that was here.
yeah, so the trailhead, if we look at the other one, yeah, it starts right there off of FM 149. So smart routing is on, so we have that setting on. So what you're able to do is click on that one part there, and you should get a dot that pops up. Okay, perfect. So now what you want to do is just outline that entire route that you wanted to go. So you just wanted to do that first half of the loop there. So draw along that trail line. So if you were to put another dot in maybe a section a little farther down. Yeah, so do maybe one right there. Yep. So click there. Okay, perfect. So it'll start to draw it out now. So just keep on going along that trail, and we'll loop it all the way back around to the trailhead. Perfect.
And what you could do, so that right there, you can see it's 7.4 miles. And let's say that if you only wanted to hike in like 4 miles or 5 miles, you could just do that distance, 5 miles. And then Victoria, you could show her how to change colors for her second day.
Yeah, so, okay, let's go. Okay, I guess we can backtrack a little bit. So if we were to only do 5 miles, let's go ahead and delete some of those points, and we'll like end it at, so if you drag along that bottom bar there, let's see. Click Command Z, or do you have a Mac? Because if you're able to click on Command Z, it should go backwards a little bit. There you go. Okay, perfect. So let's see. Okay, so that's 4.23. So let's say if we were to stop there on day 1 and we wanted to map out day 2. So click on save under route 1 there on the panel. Yeah, so click save. And then we're going to go ahead and create the route for day 2. So click on draw on map. And we can change the color to this one, maybe to like blue or green. Yeah. Great. And then we'll go ahead and map out the rest of day 2. So yeah, we're going to start there.
Quick question. Do we know at the end of day 1 if there's a place to actually camp there? Are you just hoping there's a flat surface and water?
Yeah, so that's a great question. What I would say is that the National Forest, the Sam Houston, it's been a long time since I've been there, but in generally in national forests, there are sometimes campsites that people have established, but you are able to camp anywhere. But generally what you would do is you would think, okay, I'm going to look at this and I'm going to plan out like how far more or less I want to hike, 4 or 5 miles. And then I might look if there's water nearby. And it
where
looks
do we
like,
see if there's water?
what is that?
Where do we see if there's, how do we see if there's water?
So if she were to zoom in where her campsite is on day 1, it looks like there's a creek or something right there. Okay.
Nice.
So that doesn't necessarily mean that there's water, because that could be a dry creek, right? But if you zoom out a bit, you see that, like, not right there, you see kind of like there's some little ponds, it looks like.
But there's not a water designation in this specific app.
On this specific app, there's not water designation.
Thank you.
So this is where you want to triangulate your information, and you want to, go to some forums and ask people, or you want to see if there's a ranger station. I don't know if this at the Sam Houston National Forest, if there is a ranger station. It's kind of interesting that Evelina chose this one, because here I think you pretty much are just like zone camping, and so you're kind of reliant on finding your own resources, which is good. This is a perfect example of how to do it. But she might figure out, okay, it's just, 1 night, 2 days. I might just carry in my water just to be safe.
Thank you.
Yeah. Great question though. So now she's mapping out her day 2 hike.
Day 2, yeah. And yeah, let's try to get it as close as possible to, let's see where we started with the
Or
red.
the closed loop method.
Oh, yeah, let's see.
Okay, instead of tapping that one, like go reverse out of that if you can. To the left, those little reverse arrows on the map. Okay, there. And then you see under Route 2, where it has those colors, and then it has double back, closed loop, or reverse. Just tap on the closed loop. It didn't.
Yeah. I was thinking that I might close the loop for that one
Okay,
section.
didn't quite do it right. That's all right. Go ahead and just close it manually.
Yeah, so we can just plot it all the way back. Oh, it's that parking lot right there. Oh, perfect. So the parking lot. Great. All right. So, and then if we go on the side there, so under your route, I want to make sure we click save for route 2. So we have that saved. Great. Awesome. So let's see. Oh, what happened to the red there?
I don't know. I wasn't there before.
Oh, let's see. Oh, it probably closed the loop for the red as well, maybe.
Yeah, close the loop for Route 1.
Okay, so we're probably gonna have to
It doesn't
fix
look
that.
like it added that much mileage, but I don't know.
So yeah, maybe we can do edit and see if there's a way to remove that point. Let's see. If not, we can just leave it there for now. Yeah, we'll go ahead and leave it there.
We'll leave
for
it
now.
there for.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
it just
sweet.
added about a half a mile. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. So the next thing we want to do, so let's go ahead and practice plotting some waypoints. So since we have a water source, it may be one that you can use or pull water from, then we want to go ahead and label that on our map. So if you scroll down in that left-hand panel, you see, for waypoints, so add new waypoint. And what you can do is if you zoom into the map, you can leave a little dot there to show you where that water source is at. So if you drag it down, perfect. And you can leave it there, like around top of that creek, it looks like. Yeah, it's really tricky, but maybe you can like leave it, a little bit above one of those
All right,
dots.
here we
Perfect.
go.
Okay, so then you can leave a title there. So you can call it like water source 1 or creek. Yeah, you can put that as well. Water source. And then you can click save to custom map. Yeah, save. And then now it'll pop up there. So you know that is a place to stop along your route. Let's see. So after that, I would say if you did some research as well and you saw some places that you wanted to stop at along the route as well, then you could plot those too. But I'm not sure if there's any points of interest along this one route, but that would be something else that you could potentially add. So let me make sure we covered everything for this section. Let's see.
So are these all trails then?
The squiggly line.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a good question. Those are what they call topo lines. And so what those indicate are elevation. Okay.
Oh, okay.
And I believe that so if you go and you see like 2 topo lines together, generally, let's see if you can zoom in on some of those where there's like kind of 2 of them that are kind of close together.
Like these guys?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Right there. Okay, so you see it actually has some markings on there. I think is that 328 and then 361 or something like that. So that's telling like the elevation differences there.
Okay. And
generally if there's 2 lines together, like sometimes you'll see them like in concentric circles. That lets you know, I think the topo lines are 20 feet apart each time. So if you see a bunch of them stacked really close together, it means that it's very high, the elevation changes quite a bit. I'll try to find an example of that. You guys go ahead.
Nice. So I think that is, let's see, we covered the waypoints, the routes. So let's go ahead and save our custom map. So we can make sure that we have that saved in there. Perfect. Great. And then as you can see along the bottom there, you can like scrub on that like red line and the blue line to see like where, like how many miles going into that route is. So you can like see that the elevation is at a certain point, the distance there. So you can take a look at that as well, which is pretty cool. Sweet. All right, and then we can name our map. So I guess we want to make sure that we do that so you can find it when you want to reference it. So scroll up a little bit. Let's click on edit map again, and then go down to description. And you can name it. So I put like maybe Sam Houston National Forest, and then I would maybe like put the name of the trail in there. So the one that you picked, it's called, let's look back. Lone Star Hiking Trail in Little Lake Creek. And it's half of it. So you can like take note of that in the
Was
description.
it Lone Star Hiking Trail?
Yeah. Perfect. And then maybe in the description, I will put like 1 night and 2 day trip. Awesome. Okay, and now you can click save. Perfect. And let's say you wanted to share this route with a friend. If you actually scroll up to the top, oh, let's click on save custom map, maybe. I think that's probably what happened. Save custom map. Okay, yeah, on the, oh yeah, perfect, on the dots. So
Share map.
Share map, yeah, and it'll give you a link there that you can share with whoever you're going with. Awesome. And I think that covers the majority of it. Troy, did I miss anything?
So, you know, again, like I kind of believe that like water is one of the limiting sources and for backpackers. So even though you identified that one water source, what I sometimes do is and this is a short route, right? If you were hiking a longer route, but you might want to just go along your trail, like you zoom in and you actually look and see if there's other water sources. So, you know, start at the beginning. And I mean, you see that little pond right there.
This one.
Yeah, so you could identify that, but you know, do a waypoint right there while you're here, and then go throughout the your route and do those water sources. And the reason why I say that is because, you know, some people like carry their water bottles in the outside pocket. You could lose your water bottle, right? And then you have half your supply. And so sometimes it's just good to identify sources along the route, just so that you know, yeah, there's another one.
Maybe one at the bottom. Yeah.
Now, see, those are off trail, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, so you're putting those water sources in, that's great. Now, if you go down to the little graph at the bottom, and if you kind of move your arrow along it, you see how it's kind of scrolls along there. It might, okay, there, you see that little blue dot?
Mm-hmm.
So that's where you are on the trail. So if you wanted to be exact, like you go right next to that water source, then you can see it's 3.5 miles in. And so at that at pond 3, you could say in that description of that, you could say 3.5 miles in. Does that make, yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Troy, is there a direct route from the trail to that water source?
No, it doesn't look like it, right? But okay, let's experiment with this. So on the lower right-hand corner of your map, there's those 3 little stacks. And those are layers, they call them, like on the bottom right-hand corner.
The circle with the like
Circle with the
like
3 little,
step. Yeah.
And so you can click on that and then you can see like the different views. So go up a little, see, it even gets into weather, but if you go to the satellite view and then apply it, awesome. And then you can see, zoom in.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Cool.
And
Yeah.
so if you were looking for this, you see kind of like to the left of it, there's like, it's kind of denser forest. But if you go to the right, like right below it now, there you see there's like, it seems like there's a clearing in the trees. If you needed to find it, I would go through that section. Yeah, exactly, right there. you'd go through that versus going through the more forested part. And if you go a little bit to the left, you see how it seems to kind of change, where it's loosely density tree, and then it's really thick. So that really thick section might be like bushes, you know, and so that might be really hard to walk through. So when you're doing something like this, you always kind of look for the easiest route. But that's a good question. But that's how I identify. Like sometimes you have to hike off trail to find water. You try not to do it as often as you can, but if you need to, it's good to know that you have that option.
To reiterate, you want to do all this before you leave your living room. You do not want to be thirsty trying to navigate your way through this forest.
Yeah, I mean, so it kind of just depends on how much information you feel comfortable with. Like if it was a totally unknown area that I was hiking in, I would try to map out all those water sources. And yeah, and then like you see that road where it's crossing the road, you might even put a waypoint there, that road crossing.
Right there.
Because like if you needed to get to some emergency help, that would be a good point to know, that how far you are from that road crossing. If there happened to be a McDonald's right there, you might I'd tag that. I mean, you like in this trail, there's not a McDonald's there, but if you're through hiking, if you really wanted to map out your trail for a through hike, you might find those things like a gas station or a restaurant, and you want to identify them, because you'll forget a lot of this information. But if you store it on all trails, then you'll always have it there. And then, oh, on day 2, we have the ability to get to a road and get to a restaurant or something. And if you're doing like a through hike, some of those maps, some of those apps like the Far Out guides, the Gut Hook guides, they have so much of that information already put in the trail, because all these hikers are using it, and they're updating information constantly.
Nice.
I don't know why it keeps taking me back to the road crossing. Something's wrong with my.
Yeah, mine does the same thing, where it keeps jumping back down to a certain point. I don't know why it does that.
So it's not just me. I think it's in there.
Yeah. All right. Perfect. Let's zoom out a little bit. Let's see here. Sweet. Looks good. Awesome. Let's see if there's anything else we can.
Ready to go.
Awesome. All right. So yeah, and I would say another good thing too is on Instagram or Facebook, you can also look up maybe a hashtag for this section as well, to see if people have posted about it, and you can also add some more stuff to your map based on that too. But yeah, so it's good. All right.
Let's see.
I'm trying to think if there's anything
else. And so, I would say All Trails is just one tool that I like to use, just because so many people that day hike, they already use it. And so they may have an account. And so it's very easy to share this information. And so once you save your map, did you already save it, Carl?
Yeah, so make sure just to double click save custom. Yeah.
And then go, let's see. Okay, and then go up, kind of scroll on the left side, scroll up on the, not on the map, but on the, yeah. So you see these little features a little bit further up, scroll up a little bit more. So you see these features where that is to share it. And then that one's to download it. And then, so yeah, you click on that. Oh no, that's the directions. So people can find exactly where the trailhead, exactly where you're supposed to meet to go to once they learn all trails. So it actually is mapping from your home to the trailhead. So that in itself is kind of convenient, right? Okay, so go back to all trails. Yeah, and then the next one, I think if you click on the 3 dots, then you can download. Okay. So I think you can only download it. No, you can download it anytime. So these are GPX tracks, and they have other types of data. And so what this is useful for is you can download this data, and then if you have a GPS or like an inReach, you can upload the data to that device so that your whole route is stored there. Okay. And you can also take this information and upload it into Google or upload it into Gaia GPS. If you're more comfortable using those apps, you can upload that data into them, and then your whole route will be stored. Go to the one in the center. Is that the one for what is that?
That
one
was the
for?
sharing.
Okay, that's for sharing. And so you can just copy the link, or you can email it, or you can embed it, all those different things. I usually just copy the link and share it with people. And then so what you can also do is go back to the menu on the left, and you scroll down a bit. And then, so if you go to edit map, and then where it says description, go to description. And so you just have 1 night, 2-day trip, right? That's a pretty, brief description, but what you can also do is just put all kinds of information there. You can put like a link to the National Forest website. You can put you could put the address of where you want to meet. You could put, if there's some like unique features, you could put like those type of things that you could just put a lot of information. If you have like your trip planning document, you could put a link to that document. And then once you share this with the group that you're backpacking with, all that information is here within that description. Let me see, what other, do you feel kind of comfortable with it, Evelina?
Yeah, I think, just kind of like looking up some information of, where the triangulating like all of the sources and everything, like looking at the parking lots and how to get there. I mean, that makes sense. But I feel like, like a little bit more research like on the side to see like where you can camp and things like that, and like camping rules. But I think this was kind of a fun tool to like map the trail and like look at like all of the little things that you can find along the route, like water or points of interest, like the roads and things like that, McDonald's.
And you understand.
And I think it's helpful to see
bottom?
like, it's helpful to see the distance too. I guess even like elevation, whereas here it's not much, but I can see how that would be like super helpful if you're hiking in the mountains.
Yeah, and so you see like at your on the kind of the graph at the bottom, right? It kind of shows the elevation.
Yeah.
So you're only varying a few, 20, 30 feet at a time, right? But if you were in the mountains, you could see where the saddle of the mountain is, like where it depresses, or like if you're in a valley, and generally like you wouldn't want to camp at the top of a mountain, you wouldn't want to camp at the very bottom, but you might want to camp somewhere in the middle. So that's kind of important to know the elevations. It does look like your camp, between the red and the blue, it's at a low point, right? And that's right by a creek. So that's a water source. So that means there could be more insects there. So what you could do is you could stop, even like 100 feet or 200 feet before, just knowing that all you have to do is walk 100 feet to get water, right? But just being over that ridge, being ahead of that ridge, it might be a natural break against the insects.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Okay.
Good catch.
Let me see what else. If you go back over to the layers, the little stacks on the right-hand lower corner, click on that. And then, so you see the USGS Topo Map. So click on that one, apply that. So this gives you some better topo lines. And you see how like right in the middle, there's that circle. Zoom in.
This one?
Yeah, and so you see how there's circles, and then there's so there's concentric circles. So that the top of it says 373. So that means it's 373 feet tall. And then the next topo line, it should be 353. is 20 feet lower. And so on this particular trail, there's not a whole lot of up and down, but if you were to see, let's see, well, okay, you see like a little bit to the lower right of that, you see multiple lines. It's just indicating, yeah, it's just indicating that those are steeper grades.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Are
before
they closer
you know,
together?
yeah, when they're closer together, it means it's much steeper. So before, you know, we had all trails or Gaia GPS, and you could see the elevations in a graph. That is how backpackers, or that's how wilderness people would determine the elevation gain is by the topo lines.
Old school.
Okay. And that might just be like, if that's the highest, like you might look for the highest point on your map, and that might have a scenic overlook. So that's something that you might, you know, you could put a waypoint as well. Any other questions about this?
I'm sure they're gonna pop up when we start actually doing it.
That's true.
Yeah. So, I mean, so this, you know, the fact that you chose Sam Houston National Forest, in some respects, it's kind of like the Goodwater Loop that we did, where you can just hike in and you can camp along the route, right? On that particular hike or backpacking trip, we camped at a designated camping ground because we knew that was there, and it's just easier for a large group. But on this hike, I believe in the National Forest, you can stop along the way and camp anywhere. Okay.
Very cool. Thank
But
you.
Nice.
That was fun.
Any other questions? Okay.
Great presentation, Troy. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So other than this, I think that Victoria actually has a trip that she has planned. Is that correct? Are you going to share that with folks?
Yes, so I'm planning one for Lost Maples in early May before it starts to get hot. So I'm planning to post that either probably won't be by the end of today, but sometime tomorrow. So keep your eye out for that.
Yeah. And I think there's actually going to be quite a few trips in, there already are quite a few trips listed in March and April, because it's one of the best times to go backpacking in Texas. What I did want to emphasize is that, I mean, this workshop is really designed to just give you some tools, some understanding and some tools so that you can plan your own trip, right? That's really what we're trying to do, is build independence and self-reliance so that you feel comfortable building a trip, doing some of the research, building a trip, and then you can propose it as, hey, anybody want to go backpacking with me? And then, you know, just depending on where it is and the timing, people will join on. So that's what we're really trying to get at with Austin Backpackers. We don't want it to be where there's just a few organizers organizing trips for people. We really want to build like self-sufficiency, and so that anybody can plan a trip and get some people together and go backpacking and have a great time. That's what it's really about, right? Yeah, that's about it.
All right.
That's awesome. Thanks, guys.
Okay, well, thank you all for joining.
Thanks so much.